Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have another message for you guys in the hope that we can awaken our minds a little bit and tap into some deeper truths and obviously empowerment. So can't wait to dive into this one with you guys. And this is a really interesting topic, I feel, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. I hope that this resonates with you guys as well. But basically, I want to talk about some of the real misunderstandings between men and women in relationship in particular, and it's going to be a powerful one. I think I've mentioned to you guys in my last live that over the past weekend, I actually spent 3 days in a relationship program. It was all about being accepted and connected through conflict and utilizing different skills and techniques to really manage and mitigate conflict and get to really empowered places. And so basically, some really interesting things happened at that event. And one of my absolute favorite things in this world is to watch other people get coaching, right? It's why I do a lot of group coaching in the work that I do, because there's so much value in witnessing other people go through their own challenges. And you don't have to be a direct part of that. You get to find yourself in and amongst those other courageous people who are getting coached. And yeah, it's one of the major things that I love most about attending any sort of live events. It's my favorite thing at any Tony Robbins events that I've previously been to, where you get to watch those interactions and the interventions. And basically there was one in particular, really great interaction that I want to talk into a little bit of. Obviously, I'm going to respect the privacy of those amazing individuals. But also I just want to share what I believe is such a common theme between the misunderstandings between men and women, that we can be so well intentioned, but we end up, it really ends up costing both of us. We end up sacrificing what's true for us, and it doesn't help the other one, right? It doesn't help anybody, and it certainly doesn't help the relationship dynamic. So if you are somebody who has ever been challenged by the opposite sex, and you really just feel like you keep hitting your head up against a brick wall and you're not quite sure, how to mitigate it, how to find a solution, and you end up just giving up because you're bloody exhausted by just the back and forth and not feeling understood and really wishing the other person would probably just change and probably just understand you, right? For once in their lives, right? All this sort of stuff that goes on in our relationship dynamics, then this message is going to be a powerful one for you. Now, I'm going to talk into feminine energy as feedback for masculine energy to redirect course. So I know I mention and I talk about masculine and feminine energy a lot with you guys. I've done a lot of Facebook Lives on this topic, explaining into the depths what I mean by those concepts. So if you're unfamiliar with those concepts, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but maybe not so much, just drop me a comment and I will link you to one of my previous Facebook Lives so you can get a bit of a deeper understanding about what these terms mean. But basically, to make a long story short, about 80% of women are more feminine in their core essence, and 80% of men tend to be more masculine in their core essence. And what that basically means is that we kind of see the world a little differently. We're in connection with different things. Like feminine energy is very emotional, it's very going with the flow, it's very spontaneous, and it is very creative. We both have both of these, right? It's not that we're just all masculine or all feminine. And then masculine energy is the part of us or our partner that is really direct, really, train on a tracks, going after a goal, getting something accomplished, right? It's just like going for it, right? So masculine energy is very giving and feminine energy is very receiving. And basically, let's talk about it, how it plays out in the most common in our society relationships, because what makes for attraction is the play between the masculine and the feminine. Now, I'm not saying that's a man and a woman necessarily, although it tends to be the majority of our population is more heterosexual, but it's even in a homosexual relationship, or whatever you call yourselves, you're going to have attraction because there's a masculine one of you and there's a feminine one of you. And you both have both energies, but each of you has more of a core essence. For instance, I am more feminine at my core and my essence, meaning I'm attracted to the masculine energy, but I still utilize masculine energy, right? I still get all my goals accomplished and I run my own business and all of those sorts of things. But I'm attracted to a more masculine essenced person. So my partner is more masculine at his core, and so we can have this dynamic, and I'm sure you have had this as well, right? So think back to either your current relationship, and maybe, or if you don't have a current relationship, a past relationship. And I want you to think about which one are you more in the swing of, right? Are you more feminine at your core, more connected to the emotions, the energy of your connection? It's more that receptive energy, or are you more masculine, trained on the tracks, going after what you got to get done, right? And basically, I want you to identify which side of the fence you tend to more so sit on. And you might even be able to discover that by imagining, like, what are you more attracted to? Are you more attracted to that feminine beauty, flow, radiance, or an emotionality, or are you more attracted to that train on the tracks, kind of somebody who knows absolutely what they're after in life? They've got ambition and drive, and they're unstoppable in that realm. And then basically, here's where so much challenge happens in our relationship dynamics. And let me paint the picture with this example of what I saw on the weekend, which I feel represents so many of the struggles that we've all been there. Basically, it was a man and woman, a couple, who were not seeing eye to eye necessarily on a decision that was going to be made. For them, it was in regards to marriage and children. And basically, which are pretty big, they're kind of deal breakers if you're not on the same page with that stuff, right? If one of you wants to get married, the other one doesn't, could be a challenge. One of you wants to have kids, the other one doesn't. All right, these are big life decisions, particularly around children, I say. But basically, what I saw was the woman was the more feminine energy in this dynamic. The man was the more masculine energy, much more reserved, present, but train on the tracks, And basically what I saw, and I definitely saw myself in this woman, was a restriction of her true feminine expression. Right? All with great intentions. And what she was kind of like people pleasing, stepping on eggshells, like, oh, I don't want to scare you off here. Like, I'm going to hold back my full truth because it was clear to see she was so afraid, right? She had absolute terror within her. She had a deep sadness within her. She had an anger and a frustration within her. But the facade that came across, because she was well-intentioned and not wanting to upset her partner, not wanting to, make him run away, which had been a tendency of his, she was coming at it from this, like, I'm just going to tiptoe toward this and kind of test the grounds here. But she wasn't utilizing the strength of her feminine emotion, right? And so what happened was this was creating the tension in the dynamic because she wasn't being clear and she wasn't stepping into a strong feminine energy. She was more in that weak subordinating part of that, all of our feminine energy, for all the best intentions, right? But wasn't really getting the result that she's after. And then what happened for him was, well, he's only getting the information that he's getting, and he's making the decisions for their relationship based on the information that he's getting. And he's feeling a bit uncertain because she's not being all that direct. And masculine energy requires directness. Just tell it like it is, right? And her feminine energy was terrified of the full expression, right? Because feminine energy is like an unpredictable storm, right? You don't know what's going to be left after its wake. So that's why she was tiptoeing, trying to keep, that under hold. And basically, he was just unsure and uncertain and just kind of like a bit wishy-washy himself, because that's the only information he had to go on, right? And so two very loving, well-intentioned human beings who both want the same thing. They both clearly loved each other. They both clearly wanted a relationship with one another. They both clearly wanted what was best for one another, but there was a lack of communication because of the misunderstanding of what that dynamic has to offer a relationship. The dynamic between a strong feminine energy and a strong masculine energy. So let me show you what that could look like, right? So basically what that could look like is that woman understanding that feminine energy is feedback for masculine energy to redirect course for the relationship, right? And for him to understand that feminine feedback, her energy and everything, her true expression, no matter how that comes out, is the feedback that he's actually looking for so that he can redirect course and be successful on his mission, all right? And so, what happens is feminine energy, we mistake that and we want to hold it back because we're terrified of how our partner is going to handle that or not handle that. And we think it's going to create more conflict than it's worth, and we want to mitigate conflict. And then the masculine, who doesn't understand that feminine energy, the full expression of it, he doesn't want to hear that either, because that makes him feel like he's not successful, that he can't do anything right, and why bother, right? Like, oh God, like I don't want to hear her anger or a negativity or whatever, and they reject that as well. So we've got two very well-intentioned human beings, two very intelligent ones as well, negating the benefit of the full, true feminine energy expression because they don't understand that's the actual feedback that is required to create an authentic connection and for the masculine to really feel successful in directing the course of the relationship in the most empowered way, right? He's now got all the information he needs. Now he can go after it. And then it's the feminine energy that wants to come in and really appreciate that, right? And give that feeling of success to the masculine energy that he's needing to have that inspired action take place as well. So what that could have looked like for them was her, and we did go into a little bit of this. A different leader was navigating a different lesson than what I'm expressing to you guys today. So it didn't quite play out the way that I would have loved to have seen it had I been a leader in that actual course, right? But basically, what could have happened was a really safe container where the feminine energy was allowed that full expression. And the reason why it would be allowed that full expression would be because there was a more, an upgraded understanding within them as the team of who they are, as man and woman, as masculine, feminine, doesn't need the sexes, but in this case it was a man and a woman, for them to understand, whoa, like what brought us together, what creates all the attraction is the fact that you're masculine and I'm feminine. And let's not throw that away. Let's honor that. Let's appreciate that. Let's see that that's on the way, not in the way. And let's get beyond just our own selves battling it out and like, I don't feel understood and I don't feel understood and I don't want to hear that or whatever. And we go, what is the next level? The third entity that is what we are co-creating together, our relationship. And what is best for that is that the two of us bring our absolute strengths to the table. And we're not in fear of each other's strengths. We honor each other's strengths. We encourage each other's strengths. We appreciate and admire each other's strengths. And so it takes a strong masculine to handle the level of emotion that a strong feminine is capable of expressing. And it takes a strong feminine to step into that emotion and to be able to fully express it without fear of rejection or abandonment, right? Or whatever. And so basically what needs to happen in that moment is the understanding needs to be the safe container. All right, we're doing this for our relationship that we're co-creating. It's not me against you. And what we need to do here is understand the feminine tends to be more connected to what's not working than the masculine. The masculine tends to see things better than they are. The feminine tends to see things worse than they are. But what happens is that's why feminine energy and the full expression, no matter what that is, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever, the whole spectrum of human emotion is feminine energy. And if she's able enough in herself, she's strong enough within herself, and she trusts in her partner, enough to be able to handle the full strength of her full emotion. And maybe that takes trust being built through multiple experiences, but she has to be willing to truthfully express what's really going on, what she's really picking up on, which is not working, which is, true for her, what she's feeling and sensing into within her partner and the dynamic. And she expresses that as the missing feedback that the masculine who wants to lead, who wants to provide, protect, lead, be successful, that's the missing feedback that he is requiring in order to be the best provider, the best protector, the best leader, right? The most successful, admired and appreciated man or masculine energied person that they want to be, that they're inspired to be. They need that feedback from the feminine. All right. Now, when we get this, we have women who are stepping into their full strength, like no piece of them is being hidden or restricted, right? And then we get empowered, strong masculine men who are fully stepping into their strength, who now for maybe the first time actually feel truly successful in their relationship because they're getting the right feedback so that they have the right information to take that action. And then they've got a strong feminine partner who really sees that, admires that, appreciates that. All right. So this is the kind of dynamic that we really just want to get a handle on, because too many beautifully well-intentioned individuals are really getting to loggerheads where they just don't know how to move forward, and they are hurting each other unintentionally. And if they just start to get the dynamics that are at play and then hold a high value on the quality of relationship that they're co-creating and the differences that each person brings to the table with that love and that honor and that respect, then we get to play to our strengths and not try and, mold ourselves or to accommodate for what we perceive as the other person's weaknesses, right? We don't want to create a relationship based on our perception of weakness. We want to create a relationship based on our projection of true potential that we can see within ourselves and the other person with full strength. All right, so that is my message for each and every one of you guys today. Really hope that this one has resonated with you. If you do want any more further guidance on this, if you've got more of a personal challenge, I'm always available for you guys. So do reach out and let me check in and see who's been able to join me. So drop me a comment. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, or any questions that you might have or words of wisdom that you'd love to share. I'd absolutely love to hear from each and every one of you guys. So let me check in. But I have got Joe in the house and Jay Castillo and Tina and Brett, and good evening to you, Jay Castillo. Great to see you as usual. Thank you for your kind words. And Galen's here, and Nadia and Jean and Judy and Galen. You could convince me to jump off a bridge. Okay, well, I'll take that as a compliment. I'm definitely not telling anybody jumping off bridges, but if I could motivate you in the right direction, I'm grateful. I love that. And Mark's here as well, and Dorothy and Joe. The relationship between me and my ex-wife, because she was cheating on me, she was going out with my sister's daughter's ex-husband. Okay. Can you tell me why women do things like this? Now that is a big question. So instead of it just being about a woman doing that or a man doing that, right? I want to look at our humanness, because both men and women cheat, right? And for me personally, the way I look at this is the more empowered an individual is, the more they know who they are, right? And the more they know what they want and they have the courage to live authentically and they're doing the work on themselves, the less likely they will ever play a pattern like that. Most time, and I'm just going to give you a short generalized answer for this one, and if you would like some deeper personal guidance, just reach out to me. But basically, cheating is a manifestation of an underlying problem in the dynamic. That person who goes and cheats doesn't feel confident or courageous enough to express, or they just don't even have language to put towards what's challenging them. And oftentimes it tends to be a lack of significance. They don't feel significant. They don't feel special. They feel some sort of playing against trying to feel like fill a void in which they feel really unworthy, or there's something bad about them. And so they try to externally fill that void that truly they need to be fulfilling within. And they do it in a really unresourceful, unconscious way that ends up like one of the worst things that you can do to anybody is cheat on them, right? So my heart is so with you there, Joe, and that experience that you've gone through. And I'm definitely not trying to approve of anybody's behavior who cheats. But for us to be our most empowered individuals, we want to not play a victim. We want to become the creator. And sometimes that means we've got to honor what's happened to us. We've got to stand up for our boundaries and to know what's right and what is not right, and what we will settle for and what we will absolutely not. And then sometimes in order to get ourselves out of hurt feelings, it comes down to understanding the pain and the fear that drives other people's very poor behavior. And when we can do that, we take back the power that we've allowed for them to have over us, and maybe we've made that mean something about us and our not being good enough in some way, shape, or form, and we no longer buy into that. And we can see that as somebody who's not got it together in terms of the quality of person they need to be in order to create a really truly loving, authentic, deeply connected, intimate relationship with another human being. And they play it out in really unresourceful ways. And hopefully one day down the track, they get the lesson, they start doing their work, and they no longer create those sort of wounds in relationship. But basically, that's not your responsibility, right? Talking to you, it's about understanding them and refusing to play the victim and up-leveling your standards and not settling for anything less, and also looking at that relationship dynamic from their perspective and how you could see what's the dynamic that was being co-created, because all dynamics are co-created, nothing is ever one-sided, and then taking responsibility for that for your future relationship. Right? For that other beautiful woman who will come into your life if she's not there already, and be benefited from your past experiences because you've done the work and you've learnt the lessons and you've raised the standard and you've taken ownership over how you've had any influence in the co-creation of a dynamic that you didn't want, and you refuse to replay that with her, right? It's only going to benefit you because you'll have a growth mindset and you'll be taking responsibility for that. So that's my short answer, even though it went on a little bit, but hope that was of value to you, Joe. And Haresh is here, and Mohammed and Amit, and Bill's in the house. Much love to you, and Wilden. Much love to you as well, my friend. Dehanjay and Gemma and Jay Kashan. Thank you. You're so welcome. Grateful that this was of value. Hello to you, Gemma. And Dorothy, thank you for today, Van, watching from the Philippines. You're always welcome, my friend, and grateful that this was of value to you. And Simon's in the house. Much strength and love coming right back at you. And Than and Taha and Jayoton. Thank you for your kind words there, beautiful soul. And Bajra is here as well. So if this message has been of value to you and you know people in your life who could really benefit from it, please do share it either publicly or privately. I'd really appreciate getting into the minds and the hearts of other amazing human beings just like you. And Simon, why settle when it's unhealthy? Simply ask yourself what is healthy and what is unhealthy and doesn't serve you. Lift your head high and step into your power and move forward with life and a healthy, happy future. Such powerful and beautiful words, and I'm super grateful that you contributed here, Simon. You are so appreciated. And you guys know what my reminder to you each and every day that we connect is to go out there and live authentically, love deeply, and contribute meaningfully and purposefully. All right, so much love and appreciation for each and every one of you guys for showing up live today. Hope it hit home for you, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. Much love.